Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to Japan Study Center. Today we are going to see the chapter of geography and what is our topic today? 5-year plan. The agriculture in India is during the 5-year plan has registered a phenomenal as growth. There is important here 5-year plans only here registration there growth of crop agriculture here. In the time of independent partition of India is sub or continent or commercially line resulting among the other is the acute storage of food and raw material for industries. Therefore, during the first 5-year plan is 1951 to 56, the highest priority was the accorded to be increase of agriculture production, and nearly one third of 31% of the total plant funds were allocated to agriculture sector. River Valley project were to be taken up. Irrigational facility and fertilizer plant were established, consequently a production of food grain increasing by 36% in a short span of 5 years. There is an important 5-year plan for the Indian agriculture. The second 5-year plan is a 1956 to 61. There is a period times important here was a focus on industry growth, and only up 20% of plan is a locations are devoted to agriculture. Still, food grain is a production exceed the target due to the extension of irrigation facilities and use of chemical fertilizers. There is important the use of chemical fertilizer for a duration of 1956 to 61. And during the third 5-year plan, 1961 to 66, the priorities were self-sufficiency of food grain and meeting the raw material need of industries and increasing export. During this period, Green Revolution program was started on a small scale. There is an important time period of 1961 to 66. There 5-year plan of third. There is a Green Revolution established this time. But this plan is a fail to meet the target due to China aggregation. China aggregation is 1962, Indo-Pak War 1965. The two wars are this period time and they are served to the prevalent and draft or during to 1955 to 66. There is a three is a disaster come to this time. The Chinese aggregations and Indo-Pak War and draft during to 1965 to 60. This is a very great crisis of food that forced the Prime Minister L.B. Sastry to appeal to be people to absorb to fast once a week. There is one important point here. The Prime Minister L.B. Sastry here appealed to people to absorb to fast once a week. There is important because there is a very crisis time. The Chinese aggregation on this time and Indo-Pak War on this time and draft during 1956 to 60. There is important here. During the next 3 annual plan is 1966 to 69. There is an important here. Agriculture recorded to 6 to 9% annual growth under to the impact of Green Revolution. The production of food grain is touched to 94 million tons. That is important. And the fourth plan 1969 to 74 aim to the 5% annual growth in the food grain. The high yard variety HYV of seed and fertilizer use, new agriculture techniques, irrigation facility provide to the expand area of Green Revolution. The production of the wheat increasing sharply, but growth in a rice, oilseed and chorus grain, where the nominals is resulting in only 3% annual growth against the target of 5%. That is important. During the fifth plan period 1974 to 79, emphasis were given to be self-sufficiency in their food production and property is eradications. Stress was laid on the extensions of irrigation expansion in a cultivated area under HYV seed and grant of loans and the subsidy to be farmer. Dry farming is a propagated and this plan achieved it is a target successfully with the 4.6% growth here. Almost all food grain is expected to possess witness to increase in a production here. The next sixth plan. The sixth plan has a 1980 to 85 imposes on the land reform. use of HYV seed and chemical fertilizer and ground water resource and improving post-harvesting technology as well as a marketing and storage facilities here. The annual growth rate was 6%, is the highest ever during to the planned period. The food grain is a production reached to the 152 million ton. There is an important here, 152 million ton. The highest growth in a food grain is a pulses across is careless as was recorded during to the seventh plan. The seven plans are introduced of 90, 85 to 90 and showing to our annual growth rate of 4%. The area of green revolution were expanding during this period. You know that there are 4% only. There is the area of green revolution were expanded during this period, and the eighth plan is the most important to 1992 to 97. The eighth plan is introduced of year 1992 to 97 and witness a tendency of exaggeration of food grain production will the oil seed register as a rapidly growth here. This is important eighth plans here. The next year ninth plan. The ninth plan is a 1997 to 2002. The witness of mixed success. The mixed success here. There is a locations in the food grain production and during this plan is a period National Agricultural Policy 2000 was a formed and several is measuring were announced including watershed management and development of horticulture, agricultural credit and insurance schemes for crops. They're important. In the 10th plan is in 2002 to 2007, focus is a place on some stable management of water and land resource here and development of rural infrastructure to support agriculture, disseminations of agriculture technology and credit flow to the agriculture sector and agriculture marketing reform here. The next year, the new agriculture policy here. The government of India has announced to 28 July 2000 a new national agriculture policy here. 2000 in the light of change arising out of economical liberalization and globalization here. Liberalization and globalization is the most important on this period of time. The main aim of the politics are to achieve a more than 4% per annum is a growth rate in the agriculture sector. The growth based on the efficient use of resource and conservation of the soil, the water and biodiversity, and growth with the equality is the reasons and among the farmers. Growth that caters to be domestical market and maximize benefit from the export of agriculture product and technological, environmental and economically sustainable growth. There is an important period of time here on policy of new agriculture policy 2020 and the focus of most important point here and there is a five most important rule regulation here. The next year the main feature of this policy are here privatization of agriculture and price protection of produce. There is important privatization and agriculture and price protection of producer. Land leasing of contract farming by the private companies, there is important. The next, arising there is a ceiling of the land holding, there is important. And involving their national is a livestock breeding to struggle to be meet a requirement of milk, meat, egg and the livestock here and products. Protection of plant is a variety and improvement of horticulture crop is a livestock species and agriculture here. Liberalization of the domestic market by demonstrating of restriction on movement of commodities in the country. The improving the domestic and international marketing system is important here. And the next year facilitating the flow of credit to be farmer against the pledging of their product and providing them most other facilities available to the manufacturing sector. The next year, keeping agriculture outside the regulator and tax collection system here provides an encouragement of consolidations of land holding and spreading up to the tendency or reform to recognize the right of tenant and sharecroppers. That is important. It may be noted that a policy are tensions of government. Thus, its success depend on the commitment of government to be convert it into the related.